Welcome back, Jeep Divers. Today, we're going to be taking a look at something pretty dark.
Oh.
Yeah, we're talking violation, we're talking guilt, and maybe reckoning, maybe not. It's hard to tell at this point. We'll see.
Yeah.
We've got some pretty intense source material to dig into for this deep dive.
Okay.
Excerpts from a novel called Guilty. And this short story, Luna's Night.
Okay.
Both really, really powerful on their own. But I think putting them together really
Yeah.
creates a really interesting,
Yeah.
bigger picture.
I think what's really fascinating is how they give us two really distinct viewpoints on what seems to be like a shared experience.
Definitely.
So Guilty just throws us right into the deep end.
Right.
We meet this guy named Derek who is just clearly wrestling with something, like something from his past that he is just
to run away from.
Yeah, he's sweating, he's looking over his shoulder constantly. He's like,
Correct.
what did this guy do? Yeah, and the author's so smart about it, using all these like really vivid details that instantly pull us into his headspace. But at the same time, they're holding back just enough.
Totally.
So we're like dying to know, like, what is he so guilty about? You know, we get this like little flashback to a conversation with his dad,
Okay.
and it hints at some kind of like incident, some cover-up
Okay.
involving a young girl.
Oh, wow.
It's like this wound that just hasn't healed, you know?
It's festering.
Festering, exactly.
Is that guilt eating him alive? Or is it just like he's afraid of getting caught?
Ooh,
You know?
that's a great question. Because guilt can be a powerful motivator.
Right.
It can push people to seek redemption or in some cases, like totally destroy themselves.
Wow.
But before we like go too deep into Derek's head, let's hop over to Luna's night.
Okay.
And I mean, this story starts off like on such a different note. We meet Luna. She's at a party,
Okay.
carefree, having fun. Total opposite of like the darkness we're getting from Derek.
And that contrast makes the turn in the story
Oh, yeah.
so much more.
Oh, it's brutal. This
Right.
brutal assault that happens in a bathroom.
It's rough.
And it's described through these like fragmented memories.
It's so effective.
so impactful. You're right there with her like experiencing it.
You really are.
The disorientation, the vulnerability. Oh, and it's so smart how the author does that.
Yeah.
You know, using these like shattered memories, it really reflects the psychological trauma,
It's
like how our minds like try to protect us, you know, by like pushing away these overwhelming experiences.
compartmentalizing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even as Luna is trying to like piece together what happened,
Yeah.
there's this lingering sense of danger. Like it's not over.
Yeah, it's like a shadow just hanging over her.
Yeah.
And that feeling is even stronger after that hit and run
Oh my gosh.
when
Well,
she's walking home.
what starts off like a
Yeah.
random accident, you know,
You think so?
takes this really disturbing turn. Like the driver, at first, they seem shocked,
Right.
Like, oh my God, what did I do? But then that shock turns into this fear. And then it gets even worse.
Uh-oh.
Like it becomes deliberate.
Oh, no.
Makes you question if it was ever an accident at all.
It really does.
You know? It's like the
No.
author is playing with us on purpose, leaving us wondering,
Totally.
like they do with the whole mystery around Derek's past.
Yeah.
It's this brilliant parallel. Really cranks up the tension in both stories.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of tension, let's go back to Guilty for a second. To that scene where Derek meets Detective Stone
Oh, yeah.
on the side of the road. I mean, their exchange is so thick with suspicion, you could cut it with a knife.
Oh, yeah. Derek is completely rattled.
Oh, he's a mess.
Especially with those little taunts she throws in there. Like she's trying to
She's pushing his buttons.
push him over the edge. It's
Yeah.
like this power dynamic.
Oh, totally.
She's not aggressive or anything.
Right.
But there's this quiet confidence, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. This authority that just
Thrills you.
throws Derek totally off balance.
You can practically see the wheels turning in his head.
Yeah.
Like, how much does she know?
Right. It's like a game of cat and mouse. But
Yeah.
like the psychological one?
Oh, yeah. And then just when you think it's over, she hits him with that line.
Which one?
Drive safe, Mr. Budker. I hear there's a psychopath on the loose.
Yeah. Chills.
Oh, my God. Totally.
Yeah.
Like, is she messing with him or is that a hint? Like, she's on to him.
Right.
Either way, it's like this reminder that his
Yeah.
past is a ticking time bomb.
Oh, for sure. But while Derek's dealing with that potential exposure,
Yeah.
Luna's facing a whole other kind of threat,
Mm.
walking home alone after everything that happened at the party. It's just heartbreaking because she survived the assault,
Right.
but she's still in danger. And then to realize that
Yeah.
hit and run might not have been an accident.
I know, and it's so masterful how the author is weaving these two stories together.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if there's a connection. Right. Is Derek's past somehow tangled up with what's happening to Luna?
It's unnerving.
It's like this unsettling feeling that sticks with you.
It does. If this is just a taste,
Right.
imagine what the full story's like.
And I know.
If that pulled you in, just wait until you read the full story. Guilty drops this Friday.
Oh, nice.
Get the audiobook now.
Yes.
And don't forget to leave a review
Yes.
for a personalized shout-out.
I love those.
Me too. And if you enjoyed this,
Yeah.
share it with a friend who loves thrillers. Let's get more people talking about Guilty.
For sure.
Now let's delve a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Okay, so we've talked about Derek and his potential downfall and Luna's vulnerability. But what about justice itself? Like, in these stories, what does that even look like? Does Derek face actual consequences for his past?
Yeah.
Or is it more like internal, like he's got to confront his own demons, find some kind of redemption?
That's the big question, isn't it? It all comes down to
Yeah.
like how we define guilt and redemption.
Right. Some people might say true justice means punishment.
Yeah.
Like there has to be some real consequence
Yeah.
for doing something wrong. But others might say it's more about, transformation.
Yeah.
Like confronting your past and actively trying to make things right.
It's tricky.
Yeah,
I think both stories kind of show us different sides of that.
definitely.
Like with Derek, we see the guilt just crushing him, driving all that paranoia and fear.
Mm-hmm.
So can someone like that ever really find peace if they don't face the consequences?
Right.
Like, is that internal torment enough?
And what about Luna? Where's the justice for what happened to her? I mean,
Right.
her story just shows how devastating trauma can be
Yeah.
and how long it lasts. The violation, the fear, always looking over your shoulder.
I mean, it's heartbreaking to think that after
Mhm.
all that she's still in danger. And then the fact that that hit and run might have been intentional,
Adds a whole other layer to it.
it's like another layer of injustice.
It really makes you wonder if there's a connection between the two stories.
It does.
Like, does Derek's past somehow tie into what Luna's going through?
Yeah. And the author just keeps building that tension.
Oh, they're good.
Makes you really uncomfortable.
They make you face this uncomfortable truth that sometimes the world just isn't fair. Bad things happen to good people.
It's true.
And sometimes the people who do those bad things get away with it.
Makes you question
Yeah.
everything you know. Like, is there even such a thing as a moral universe?
Right.
But even with all that darkness,
Yeah.
there's still this glimmer of hope. Like Luna's resilience.
Oh, totally.
How determined she is to keep going
I know, it's amazing.
after everything she's been through.
Yeah. It really shows you
Yeah.
the strength of the human spirit, like how we can overcome
Yeah.
even the worst things.
Yeah, we can't always control what happens to us. But
Yeah.
we can control how we react.
Exactly. And Luna chooses to fight,
Hmm.
chooses to keep moving forward. And that in itself,
That's a powerful thing.
yeah, it's like she's saying,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let this break me.
Exactly.
So even when things are really bad,
Yeah.
we always have that choice to choose hope, to choose resilience, and to keep fighting.
That's beautifully said. I think that really gets to the heart of both these stories.
Yeah.
Like, even when we're facing injustice and darkness and
Yeah.
all that guilt and trauma,
Mm-hmm.
there's still that potential for healing, for growth,
Mm-hmm.
for finding the strength to keep going.
Okay, so speaking of strength, let's talk about Detective Stone for a minute.
Okay.
We've seen how she interacts with Derek,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't really know much about her. Like, what makes her tick?
Oh, yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it just a sense of duty? Or is there something more personal driving her?
Interesting. I mean, we know she's sharp,
Oh, yeah.
observant,
Yeah.
maybe even a little manipulative,
Yeah.
the way she handles Derek. But what's going on beneath the surface?
Right.
Is there some past case that haunts her?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe a personal connection to a similar crime?
Yeah.
Maybe she's just really good at her job,
Yeah.
you know? Masterfully playing the game to uncover the truth.
It's a mystery.
It is.
I bet the full novel tells us more.
Probably.
These excerpts just give us these little glimpses.
Yeah, but that's what makes them so good,
It's true.
you know? Just enough to make you curious, to make you care about these characters and their stories. And then
Yeah.
they leave you wanting more.
The author's really good.
They are.
They give us just enough to hook us, and then they make us want to figure it all out.
I know. It's like they're giving us pieces of a puzzle,
Yeah.
each one revealing just a little bit more. But it's up to us to put it all together,
Mm.
to think about the themes,
Mm.
and to grapple with all those unanswered questions.
Yeah, it's like we're detectives, too,
Right.
trying to put the pieces together
Totally.
and figure out what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes deeper than just the mystery.
Oh, yeah.
These excerpts really make you think about.
Like our own ideas about guilt and justice and even what truth really means.
Exactly. They make you question, like, how do we even define justice?
Right.
Not just in the legal sense, but like
Yeah.
on a personal level
Mm-hmm.
as a society.
Yeah. Is it all about punishment?
Yeah,
Getting even?
right.
Or is there something more to it, like
Yeah.
rehabilitation, forgiveness,
Understand.
trying to understand?
Yeah.
And what about the victims? How do they heal?
Right.
How do they find closure when the system or even society doesn't give them the justice they deserve?
Tough question.
No easy answers.
No.
But I think these kinds of stories can help us
Yeah,
wrestle with those tough questions.
for sure.
Explore different perspectives
Yeah.
and learn to have empathy for people who've been through these kinds of things.
Yeah, literature has this amazing power to connect us,
Yeah.
to show us the world through other people's eyes, and make us face some hard truths
Yeah.
about ourselves and the world.
Sometimes those hard truths are exactly what we need
Yeah.
to start talking about these things
Yeah.
and to make real change happen.
Like facing the darkness,
Yeah.
exploring the messiness of guilt and trauma,
Mhm.
and the search for justice.
Yeah.
We can learn so much about ourselves
Yeah.
and the world around us.
And it reminds me of something else, too.
What's that?
The whole idea of perspective.
Oh, yeah?
Both Guilty and Luna's Night
Mm.
show us different sides
Mm-hmm.
of the same coin.
Yeah, we see inside Derek's head
Yeah.
all that torment.
Yeah.
But we also see how much his actions hurt Luna.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that there's always more than one side to the story.
It is.
And to really understand,
Mm.
we got to try to see things from everyone's point of view.
It's easy to judge,
Yeah,
to blame.
to want revenge.
Right.
But what if we actually listened?
Yeah.
Tried to understand what drives people?
Their fears, their pain.
Yeah. Would we see the world differently?
It makes you think.
It does.
Would we be more likely to choose healing over punishment?
Such powerful questions.
They really are.
And that's what makes these stories so gripping.
Yeah.
They don't give us easy answers.
Right.
Or simple solutions.
They make us think.
Yeah. Engage with the tough stuff
Yeah.
and see the humanity
Mm-hmm.
in everyone.
And even people who do awful things.
Exactly.
So before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
Something to chew on.
I like it.
We've talked about guilt and justice and redemption and perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But what about truth?
Ooh.
Can we ever really know the whole truth?
Mm.
Or is it always going to be subjective,
Right.
shaped by our own experiences and biases?
Yeah. And what happens when the truth comes out?
Right.
Does it bring healing?
Or just open old wounds?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
And if you're ready to dive even deeper,
Yes.
check out the full novel, Guilty.
It's out this Friday.
It's so good.
You're going to love it.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
share it with a friend who loves a good thriller.
Yes.
Let's get more people talking about Guilty.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this journey
Yeah.
into the heart of guilt justice
Mm-hmm.
and what it means to be human.
Thanks for listening, everyone.